Michael, first off, I've seen Paudie O'Connor walk off training pitch today. That obviously means good news with his shoulder, I'm guessing.
Yeah, really good news. He's a warrior, isn't he? He gets through everything and he wants to go again, and we've managed to patch him up, and it just shows his mentality as a skipper. And he's ready to go again, so it's just fantastic. And all the older boys, the leadership lads, have been fantastic, and we're just trying to grind out that result really.
Rico Hackett was training as well. Is that good news?
Yeah, good news. Rico's in for contention again, which is great. We thought it could be something worse than it actually was. But looking back, again, the medical team, Rico, we've got him back in the training pitch, and hopefully he is good to go.
Eric Ring, JJ McKinnon, they were ill. How are they doing?
Yeah, so Eric Ring's still really poorly, still really ill. Not been back in the building at all for quite some time now. So that's we just got to get him healthy rather than fit. He's fit. We've got to get him healthy, and JJ's back into training today. So another good body back.
Tyler Walker has been missing the last few matchday squads. What's happening there?
So disappointingly, Tyler's got another setback, which is really disappointing because he was obviously trying to get back in, and he's now probably another 8 to 12 weeks with a calf injury. So real feel for Tyler at the minute. He just can't get going, and we've got to just try and help him. But he's disappointingly he's got another setback. So we're not going to see him for at least probably another 10 weeks really.
And that'll take you to mid-March, end of March. He's got his contract up at the end of the season. Do you almost have to not think about him in your plans going forward now?
I think so. If I'm honest, I think so. I think it was one where we had to try and get Tyler going, and looking forward, I think it's probably for me, Tyler, and the club to sit down long term. But in the short term, like you say, he's not going to be back till mid-March at best, and then we have to see from there. But in the next 10 weeks, he's got to get fit, he's got to get himself right. But for us, we've just got to crack on with what we're trying to achieve, which is game to game to game, as you know. But long term, it's for us all to sit down and make a decision, really.
On the other side, the man who's been so dependable, Tendai Dairibau, signing a new contract, how important was it to get that done and dusted?
Yeah, I think when Tendai came into the building, we knew he had the character references, and he's been absolutely amazing. He's been one of the best leaders, along with Paudie and Jacko and Conor McGrandles, who are great leaders. But Tendai's added that experience and leadership to the group, which is first and foremost. But the other thing, he's been really reliable on the pitch, and he's played nearly every minute of every game. And to some degree, that's his detriment because we've had to move him inside. He's played 3 different positions over 3 games, which is not easy, and that takes experience. But he's been Mr. Consistent with his performances, and he looks, touch wood, like he can keep going, and he looks after himself very well. And I know he's really pleased for him and his family to extend, if you like, and get some consistency. He wants to build something here for the future as well, which is who we want and what we want in the building. There's someone that keeps driving the team forward, and Tendai does that every day on the training pitch, and does that on the pitch, as everyone can see.
And as much as you want to focus on the here and now, I guess knowing you've got him in play, George Wickens, JJ McKinnon and Rob Street, there's a number of players now that you've got confirmed signed down to work with.
Yeah, and I think it's getting everybody in the right place long term, but also we have to focus on the short term. I think you can't take your eye off the short term, which is really important, and we're in a difficult spot at the minute, and teams go through difficult spots in this league, and we were never not going to go through a difficult spot, I suppose, and we've just got to keep trying to push to get that performance. But like always, and I think this is why the club's really, really good, we're always looking at the long term as well to make sure that that direction of travel. And I think football lives in 2 lanes. It lives in a fast lane every day, and it lives in a slower lane that you have to look after, in the North Star, in terms of growing the club, building the club in the right way. And there's always that challenge, if you like, is to get the balance between the two, and that's what we're trying to do.
You had a difficult spell this time last year as well over the festive period. Which one's been harder for you to deal with?
Yeah, not both Christmases have been great. I think different for different reasons. I think last season was difficult for a reason. I think this season's been a difficult spell that we've gone through now, but we're in it. We know we're in it, and we've got to find our way out of it. And in some ways, this one has been really interesting, because I think at the end of last season and at the start of this season, we want to raise expectations. We want expectations to be high, and we've done that, and we want to be in and around it, and we want those expectations, and I think that's good. That shows the development of the club, but then there's also context and realism to where we are as a club, what we want to achieve, and I think it's getting the balance between. And what I always try to do in these situations is keep calm, but keep pushing and keep working hard, and the same with the players. And we know football turns quick, and we want to just turn that dial as much as we can. But So I think the situations are slightly different, but yeah, it's a tough league. We know that, and we've just got to keep grinding and keep trying to find ways to get points on the board and try and find wins, and then push on from there.
I know you've always talked about it being the process when it comes to the performances on the pitch, but when you're going through a difficult patch, sometimes is it about getting the result and not the performance?
Yeah, I think so. It has to be, doesn't it? And it's about, because like anything, I think players can get edgy sometimes, and players can get frustrated. And of course, it doesn't mean they're not trying hard. It's sometimes over trying, but we're trying to fight. Every day we're trying to fight, and the players are trying to fight, and we're trying to make things work. And then when you concede a late goal like that of the manner, it's you stood up to that for 85 minutes, and then one direct ball and it lands, and that's sort of what not falling for us at the minute, and we have to work through that mentally on the training pitch and everything we do to go again. But and the Christmas period is always difficult. And I think I said this. Let's see where we are at the end of January. And I think people don't believe me sometimes. When you start really well, I think when you come out the back of January, it's tough. But like I say, it's about having high expectations. And I came from a club that was in the Premier League that had high expectations, and it was difficult. And everybody wants to do well, and we want to do well. The fans want to do well. The club wants to do well. But in these moments, we have to keep calm and keep focused.
On Stevenage, will it be a battle again tomorrow, do you think?
Yeah, a huge battle. Very similar to Rotherham. Very direct, very aggressive. It's got some really fast, good players on the top line. On a good run, on a confident run. Confidence is huge in this league, as we know. So once you get into a good run, it builds momentum. And they're going to be a tough team to play against. And they're going to be a very similar game for us to try and be clean in and try and calm the game down and try and tip it in our favour as much as we can. But I think to think of anything different than what we faced the other day, it's going to be very, very similar.